everyone, and welcome to the Winging It F1 podcast, episode 58. And today we are going to be looking at and talking about the slew of car liveries that have launched over the last week. There's some good, some bad, and some ugly in there, but we will discuss all of that. We may even have different opinions on which one fits into each category. And we've got a bit of news as well, but mainly it's rating those car liveries. But first, I'm joined with Freddie and Nigel. As usual, how are you both?
Yeah, doing nicely. It's amazing how much we all get hyped up over colours of cars, because we're not really going to talk much about the technical details of the cars. We can say that now. We can say that off the bat. We're always going to be talking about the way this little colour sits in with this colour and the way this pattern works. Because what's the most important bit is when they're on track is the technical stuff, not the paintwork. But still, I find it so exciting to talk about.
Yes, great intro, Adam, I've got to say. Getting the word slew in there and saying the good, the bad, and the ugly sums up our podcast, really. The audience can decide who's who.
Yeah, I think just on what you said, Freddie, I think we have kind of the whole season to talk about the technical side of it and like how that impacts performance. But this is kind of it. This is all about kind of what they look like to a large extent. And I think it's a pretty good crop that we've got so far on the grid. But we will get into that later.
Very blue.
Yeah. Yes, very actually. Especially today's launch, Williams' launch, kind of
Not blue as in filth, blue as in like just the colour.
I don't think anyone was thinking that, Freddie.
I don't think anyone made that link. That's an entirely internal Freddie thing. Anyway, but first, news. Bahrain will have fans, hopefully, as long as they've been vaccinated, they've recovered from COVID, they're all fine, could have some fans at some F1 races. We had some last year, had a few in some of the Italian races, but that was just key workers, I think. And we had some at Russia, which is ironic.
And
that's probably the one
Portugal and Nürburgring had quite a lot. They were probably the busiest, which is a shame because Nürburgring had a whole day rained off. So the races they're going to have the most fans at, they just had to sit there and not watch anything, bless them.
I thought it was only a morning. I thought they got the...
No, they had FP2 cancelled as well. They only had FP3, a 1 hour session.
And that's correct.
It was really interesting.
Yeah, it completely changed the pecking order.
The strategy of that race was crazy because every time you looked at a lap chart, there was someone in 7th, the next lap they'll be in 13th, the next lap they'll be in 7th, the next lap they'll be in 12th and something. And it was crazy in the midfield, that race. But anyway, we're getting tangent.
Yeah, you can find that review if you go back a few months.
So. Yes. You can also find me and Freddie's articles that we wrote when we were covering those free practice sessions. And had to write like 300 words, 400 words on nothing happening, which was quite an interesting challenge, but in some ways I quite enjoyed it.
I wrote a feature at the time about who the hell could have been on Günther Steiner's 10 driver list apart from Callum Ilott, and ended up going down some kind of route of like why maybe Haas were going to sign Kimi Räikkönen, but lo and behold, we know what's happened there now. But anyway.
Annoyingly, that could have been a great segue into the start of the liveries, but just two other bits and bobs. Azerbaijan is going to be behind closed doors, which I think out of all the tracks, it probably gains least by having fans in terms of, it seems to be all about the track itself and the racing. It's not a kind of one that springs to mind when you think of fan.
It seems the most necessary to be closed off as well, because it's in a city. You'll have natural interest around it, so that if you're keeping people far away from the circuit, in a population hub, it's going to be a lot easier to control than if you've got flocks of people heading to it, which undoubtedly you're going to probably get anyway in a city. So whereas in like a circuit, people who have tickets can go and can be controlled in the middle of nowhere in a field. Whereas in the middle of a city, it's a lot harder to do that. So I think it is the right idea for now. It's a shame if it was like November, I'm sure they would try to ticket and everything, but it's a shame for them, really.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because that race is in June. Yeah, some races before haven't even talked about whether they're going to have fans or not. So hopefully we'll hear soon, whether Spain, Monaco, they have fans. I don't think Monaco will. I remember right. I might have.
Like it's all about the build, isn't it? The Monaco build has begun, and the reason Azerbaijan are making the announcement now is because they're going to actively not be building stands and stuff like that, and they have all the contracts in place, so people they can just officially announce it, just get it out of the way. Monaco has been a bit ambiguous and stuff like that, but from pictures I've seen in the past week or so of the build in Monaco, it looks like they are building stands in some places. I don't know if that's because that's where like they have race control buildings and stuff like that are temporarily put. I'm not sure whether that was where that was, but it looked like sort of around the Raskas to back area, all around there, which is normally where the biggest fan complexes are, swimming pool as well. It looks like they're building stuff around there. So I'm not necessarily sure whether they're going to have distance fans in Monaco, whether they're going to have it only open sort of people in the Principality, but who knows?
Yes, our Monte Carlo correspondent there, Freddie Coates. And
I will happily be a Monte Carlo correspondent. If we can get a budget together and I can live in Monaco, let's do it. Any Monaco sponsors or people who want me to just live in Monaco, just here, please. I've got my Twitters on the screen, at FredCoates1999. Please DM me, bring me to Monaco.
Yes. Didn't even say ours, Adam.
No, he didn't. I noticed that. So
yeah, they can't come.
Mine's at Adam Dickinson01. You can find me on there posting about loads of random stuff. Some F1, some rugby, some cycling, some non-sport. We'll see.
Not enough Monaco.
And Nigel's is at Nigel C. Journo, where again there's a eclectic mix of insight into the world. It describes
Nigel's going to get bought up by some Bora Bora travel agent, isn't he? He's going to have an even nicer place to live as a correspondent.
Macau, that'd be all right, I guess.
From a motorsport perspective as well, it'd be fantastic.
Yes, but Freddie's not pitched for that. He doesn't like you, Macau. Pick me instead. Bahrain offered to vaccinate the whole F1 paddock ahead of F1's arrival there, and F1 said no, they didn't think it'd be the right thing to do politically, which is a first. But it is a, it's
not getting an F1 job.
It's a good step. It's a good step from them, and they felt that there were more people in the world who deserved it. I think if I was a staff member in F1, I would feel a bit about it, but I'm not, so I don't. Well done, F1.
I mean,
but then again,
go on.
If you're going to be someone who's at risk, at least from a UK perspective, you'll presumably will have already had the vaccine. To be honest, the majority at risk, because in some parts of the country they're sending letters out now to 40 to 50-year-olds as well. So I think
one of us has had a vaccine.
Yes, Nigel, 70-year-old Nigel. He's going to be in Bahrain.
I know. I've heard the second jab is worse. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Went off top, like side effects, I mean.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but that's off topic.
Just like a bigger needle.
Go like a javelin.
Like you get those like grouting things the builders have, they put in the wall and stuff like that, and they just put that in the side of you, like a syringe they put in like horses, and just force it in you. You like your arm just inflates.
Apologies if this makes any listeners queasy. I know
yes,
everyone's cup of tea.
For all correct COVID-19 information, please visit your local government website. On nhs.co.uk. They'll have more up-to-date information. We don't want to spread misinformation about COVID vaccines. Take a vaccine. Don't be anti-vax.
I mean, to be fair,
we're covered.
That the initial piece you said wouldn't be out of place in an anti-vax video.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe if you don't get the Monte Carlo job, then there's a backup option. There's an insurance.
If I get the Monte Carlo job, I'll have the Monte Carlo jab. It'll be fine.
Hey, I like that. But yeah, that's all news in a quiet week. It will be building up though. It will be getting busier and busier with news.
One week to testing.
Probably the last quiet week until December.
DTS trailer dropped as well. 2-minute long one. Drive to Survive season 3.
I watched the whole season, so don't feel like I need to watch the trailer.
The trailer was quite exciting, to be fair. They edited it together nicely, and it just was They had a nice bit at the end with Gunther Steiner not asking for an umbrella, which on the face of it sounds a bit weird, but then you realize it's Gunther Steiner and his whole Netflix persona is just swearing for no reason. And yeah, it's an interesting way of denying an umbrella.
Well, there's all that to look forward to coming on Friday the 19th of March, I think it drops. But things that have dropped this week are 5 new liveries to be able to look at and appreciate. It's brilliant. It's very exciting, as we've already said, as fans. And we are going to be racing on the scale of Nandos. So he's going to start with extra hot, medium, lemon and herb, and bad, because plain wasn't bad enough. So
I should just say, I said this idea as a joke, a complete joke before recording what we've actually gone with it. So,
I mean, I did ask before we started, do we actually want to do this? And both of you said yes. I feel like that.
What's a more
important?
What's a more universally understood and agreed upon rating apart other than the Nando's spice scale?
1 to 10.
No.
Yeah, that's
back off with your numbers.
Exactly. This isn't a maths podcast.
We're going to be putting in extra hot 0.5 and stuff like that just to be crazy with it. You're going to have, I don't know what side orders you're going to have with your Haas livery. Who knows?
Would extra hot 0.5 be above extra hot?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Hold your horses, but that will be the time of your life.
Yes. But
you don't even have Ferrari yet.
We don't have Ferrari. We've got all of them except Ferrari, but we're just going to be... Actually, no, we're not. We're going to be talking about all of them that have come out so far, but doing less of a deep dive into ones that have come out already. So we're going to be going in a round robin fashion, each selecting one. Nigel, do you want to kick us off, please?
Yes, I do want to kick us off because that's what we planned. I'm going to kick us off with Haas, the very controversial... So Adam,
not ruining the magic.
Yeah,
that's what we planned. Oh.
To let the viewers know, they want that extra insight. That's what you don't get on TV.
Wait, they can wait till I've got a whole camera set up for the behind the scenes here. Now it's just going to be pointless for winging it confidential on BBC Three.
I'm trying to remember all the stuff I said in the planning meeting.
No, we don't want that going out.
No, we don't. Nigel, Haas, go.
Yes, sorry, Haas. Yeah. I think the big news that today on Friday, is that they're being investigated by the World Anti-Doping Agency because the car appeared with the Russian colours, even
the Russian flag.
Just
an emblem, isn't it?
Yeah, it's arranged in. It's not just in the colours of red, white, and blue. It is actually. Wherever they can, they have put it in the 3 bars.
The Russian Federation flag is emblazoned upon the side and front of the car.
Yeah,
in quite a nice way.
Yeah, so it's because of the new sponsor, which is called Freddie. What's it called?
Uralkali.
Yeah, which actually doesn't even have those colours. It's meant to have green in it, but instead
green and red and white.
They've decided to go with this, which is a bit mad because Russia in all sports, they're not meant to. Russian athletes can't compete under the Russian flag; they have to compete under a neutral banner. But this new Haas car might be breaking those rules, so we'll see if they have to change their livery or not. But I mean, it's almost funny in a bad way. This livery, and it's just mad. It is just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the rules are in place. It's a punishment for Russia's state-sponsored doping program. And the idea is that Russia isn't represented at the top level of sport. And it's annoying because I actually like the design. Like, if you were just looking at it and don't know any of the context around it, I do really like it. I think it looks very nice. But a white-based car, I'm always a fan of that. I do really like it, but when you add in all of that context, it's just bad. So it's a lemon and herb for me.
Adam's absolutely right. It's the connotations that come with the actions of their driver Nikita Mazepin last year, and the now sort of enforced position Haas are from their sponsors. Of it spells out on a plate why there hasn't been any sanctions given to Nikita Mazepin for his actions. And as Adam says, it's a neat livery. If those of you remember when Russian Time competed in Formula 2, they were one of the best teams in Formula 2. They had some kind of fancy liveries every now and again, but this would have been absolutely on the money for them. This would have been fantastic, this livery, because they were called Russian Time. It was an actual team named after Russia in a way like Force India kind of was, and they had a cool Indian flag thing for a bit going on. It's that kind of vibe, but this is the brash American team, and unfortunately they're in a position where they've rolled over for the money, which they need to, unfortunately, and it's just the connotations around it completely, they ruin the livery. And because art has meaning. We're not in like a pretentious way, just in a genuine life way. This is just a symbol of despair in F1 now, frankly. And I think the fact that it's going to be struck down is it's a bit of a joke, to be honest, but it's not. It's just a bit of it's not even like hope for anyone. It's just a bit of a way to ridicule Haas some more, which I think is kind of welcome at the moment, unfortunately for them. And I know what my judgment on this is entirely not based on a kind of like I said, a kind of neat livery. It's just, I agree with Adam. It's kind of unrankable, really, Lemon and her, but I'm just not really that happy with the situation.
Yeah,
no, I completely agree.
I think most people find it difficult. I mean,
every sane person finds it difficult.
Yeah, I'm not even going to rate delivery, to be honest.
That's probably best.
Two things I do like on it. I like the 1-on-1. I think that's very neat, and the numbers on the engine cover, quite a classic look.
Yes.
And I think this could be a modern classic if it wasn't for all of the context around it, but it is. So there we go. I mean, the fact that it's an American team as well.
I know. It's unbelievable. We couldn't make it up.
We're not against sponsors instigating liveries and stuff like that. Because you look at BWT, they have brought in such a great dash of pink to the grid in the past few years. It looks fantastic. The pink is still relevant there to the Aston Martin we're going to talk about later. And you think about so many great sponsors, so many great liveries have been brought about by sponsors. You think of the yellow Jordans, were all so iconic, and that was brought on from Benson and Hedges, the cigarette company. You have the Marlboro McLarens and the red and white deck sort of cigarette packet on there. We're not against like the way the sponsor has dictated the livery, because that looks good. It's just everything that comes with it is depressing and disgusting.
Moving on from that, the perfect antidote to that, the Alpine livery, which is my pick to talk about next, and it is stunning, striking, beautiful.
I love it.
I really like it. I think
with
the Alpine,
Alfa Romeo, but nothing will be. But for me anyway, but it's right up there. It just looks so good. It's the shade of turquoise, or I don't know. It's too kind of dark or too bluey to be turquoise, but the shade of blue that they've got looks absolutely stunning. It's quite
French
a
racing
look.
blue. It's French racing blue, basically, in the same way that British racing green is a thing. French racing blue is this. So you look back in sort of French cars of history, you got like Matras and stuff like that. Jackie Stewart's first championship winning car was this kind of blue. There's a few others down the line. I think some of the the Alpines of the past are like this. These are the sort of historic French, the Prosts as well, the Ligiers of the past of French racing colours. And it's great. It's so cool. I love it. I remember, I don't know if I said it on the podcast or not, but I remember thinking when Alpine was announced, I was a bit apprehensive because I don't like their WEC livery, which is a really dark blue. Because I absolutely love the blue they've gone with, and that's the blue they've sold their cars on for the past few years. And I think it's just one of the sexiest colours that you can get, a kind of sort of tealy kind of turquoise, not like if that makes sense. I don't know. Everyone's seen the car.
If not, it's on screen now.
Yes, it is. And oh god, I've got to match that to my click in the edit now. Anyway, and if you're in audio, tough. But yeah, I was a bit apprehensive, like, this is the one I'm looking for. I want to be the best because I think it can be the best, and I was worried that it wouldn't be as good as it could be. Because like when Renault came in 2016, they just made the car yellow and just like, cool, it's yellow, just yellow, come on, and that kind of thing. I kind of thought, is it going to be a bit like that? But it wasn't, and they've smashed it out of the park for me.
Yeah, it's like toothpaste colours, isn't it? It's quite mint. No, okay. That was awful.
Oh, yeah, so all of the green on the car.
Yeah, I love the livery as
Depends
well.
on the toothpaste you use.
Yeah, true. The French tricolor colours. The livery, the launch was a bit unusual as well. They used holograms, and I found that quite bizarre.
It's a shame that didn't really work out, to be honest, because you kind of get it, and it's a way to bring people close together. Is you have to do it virtually, but here's a cool way we can do it virtually, and that kind of thing. And it just didn't work in the way they did it. I think mostly because every stream for it was lagging like crazy for some reason. It's like, I don't really understand that. It doesn't seem to be, it seems to be kind of out of their control in a way, unfortunately. I don't really know why that happened. And they've been a bit tight-lipped on that. I think they're just letting the car do the talking. I think that's all they can do after the launch.
That's all you need to do. It's extra hot.
They've got an interesting structure at Alpine. They've got no team principal now.
Yeah.
They've got sort of a more, it's kind of being run by committee. When you've got the head of Alpine, you've got the head of Group Renault, you've got the sort of the racing director and the technical director sort of on par with each other. So you've got Marcin Bukowski, who's been there last year, and Davide Brivio, who's come over from Suzuki MotoGP, who won the title last year at MotoGP. And they're kind of parallel with each other, which is
Laurent as well.
It's kind of, Laurent Rossi is the head of Alpine. And yeah, it's, people always talk about run by committee as a bad thing, and there's probably a reason for that. We don't know probably enough about the internal structures of this team yet. It's only been going on for a month, basically. But I think the loss of Cyril Abiteboul there is going to really be very interesting to see how that plays out, I think, because he was very instrumental in bringing in Alpine to this development with the Formula One team. He's been at that team since he's been with Renault in Formula One for about 10, 15 years, frankly, and has been at the top of that for the past decade. He is a big figure to not be there anymore, and it all looks as though he's walked rather than jumped. Walked rather than been pushed even, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see why that happened and whether it's a bit unstable there. It's always felt as a team that's been at the whims of Paris, and they've got a kind of, from the management, but they've got a kind of vote of confidence now. They're given a rebranding to it in a way. They've got a solid commitment, but are they just trying to divert attention away from Renault with it?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I feel they're all starting again, kind of thing with it. It's always a new era. And we always talk about, Renault this year's a building year, but I think this year for Alpine is genuinely a building year, and next year will be the big shot. I have low expectations for Alpine, even though Fernando Alonso's coming back, which I find very exciting. Esteban Ocon should be much better as well too, but I think they'll struggle to hit the top 5. I'd say overall.
Oh, okay.
Just on
kind of get that.
Just on that as well, that's Haas have kind of played down expectations a lot. Yeah. They've said they're not developing this car, so that's going to make an even more fun season for them. I don't know with Alpine. I think the Alonso factor is there. I don't know. I think we'll just have to see. After testing, we'll have a much better idea. I really hope it goes well, though, because it is an absolute stunner of a car to be up there. I like the black as well. I like the way they've kept some of the black on from the Renault. It's kind of not visible,
sleek, doesn't it?
It's not kind of intrusive, but yeah, it just like fills the space very nicely. I like the Castrol as well. I think
nice. If there's anything you sort of take off it, it's sort of some of the slaps of red, like not at the back it works, but sort of I think it's a MapFrey logo sort of around where the barge boards are. It's just like a big punch of red, and I think it looks good. I don't think it looks bad, but I think it would just be even cooler if that was a bit kind of like a a dark kind of black kind of sleek through it. I don't know. I mean, they probably tried that. They probably settled on this for a reason, but who knows?
Ratings?
Oh. Go on,
Extra
Freddie.
hot. Hot and a half.
I'm going to go extra hot.
Oh, yes, that famous Nando's order.
Well,
The sunset burger. Oh, what spice do you want? Hot and a half, please.
Hey, I mean, that's catchy. They should take it. Hot and
Probably
a
right,
half.
to be fair.
That's it's you have hot, and then you have a bit of garlic peri on the side. I've got a great Nando's order.
You're picking next, so it's kind of.
Oh, here we go. It's
much
me.
to
I'm going to talk about Mercedes. The reigning world champions had a very interesting decision on their hands when it came to what do we do to this car to make it look different, because we like how the car looks already. So let's just slap AMG on the back of it for some reason. And I liked it at first, but I kind of feel a bit now, every time I look at it, I kind of get a bit more like, how about no? And I think most of the car is cool and slick and black and Patronus turquoise and all of that, and it's like, wow, look at that, it's so sleek. And if you had like got a few sort of silver touches around, it's like, yeah, it's so slick. And then at the end of it, it's just like, yeah, and let's splurge AMG on it, but let's not go the whole hog, let's just do a little bit of the back. And it's kind of a bit like, okay, cool, they've done this kind of out there vibe to it, and I like that should be applauded. And you kind of think it's kind of like what Red Bull do when they do their sort of camo balls and their fancy launch liveries sometimes, where it's like they do a whole hog random thing and everyone goes, wow, it looks great, and then they don't do it. It's kind of like Mercedes have tried to go along those lines, but they've only done a little bit so they can keep it all year. And I kind of think I'd be intrigued to see if they'd gone the whole hog with that and just slapped random logos all over the car, like it's a massive sort of mosaic of modern art. I think that would have been
a fan result at that point. Like people have got so up in arms about this, like just having it on like a square foot and a half of the engine cover.
Well, the reason I'm up in arms about it is because I kind of think either do it a lot and go crazy with it, because it's that kind of thing. It is crazy. It's a kick from the design team of like, yeah, we're bonkers, we're wild, look at us. And you kind of think, cool, do that for the whole thing, or do the whole thing slick. You can't really have both, and that's the kind of that's where I've sat with it for the past few days.
I like it as well.
Fair.
I think it's. I mean, they said about wanting to have some of the Silver Arrows heritage on there, and I think it's just nice. It's kind of cars don't have corners, but it's quite self-contained on the car and fits in quite well like that. I think I really like them trying to use the AMG as a kind of design feature rather than just as a sponsor logo. And the numbers look really slick on it as well. I think they look better than last year. I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be towards the front for most of the times, and we're going to see it from the front view. So, and I think it will look on track. I think it will look really good personally. And I know in some of the photos at some of the angles, the AMG thing does make it look a bit strange, but I quite like it. I'll give it a hot rating.
Okay, so for me, when I said I really like it, I was kind of on about the AMG, silver bit. I think in general, the first pictures they released looked stunning. I was like, wow. But then they were 3D rendered. The ones in person of the actual car, I just don't think it kind of works. The kind of teals and reds and burgundy is a bit less bright and vivid, and kind of gets. I don't know whether it's because it was in a big white, brightly lit room that it kind of.
But I don't think that would ping it out more though. If it's got bright lights all over it, you kind of think that would give it, like, if it's like a sunny day kind of vibe, it would give it the most punch.
I don't know.
I get what you mean. I feel like
I think it is because kind of everything is reflecting white. There's white cupboards all around, and I think that does kind of take away from those colours a bit. So we will have to see on track. I would go a medium.
Yeah, because my kind of quarrels with it are I think it's good. I think both bits are good, but I kind of think they don't
Welcome
fit
to the
together.
Winging It Romeo and Juliet podcast.
Yeah. It's
So,
either have one or the other, and I kind of think they're both good and they're both hot, but together they make it medium for me, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go medium as well. It does make sense. They're not hot together; they're hot individually.
we should just say at this point, if Nandos do want to sponsor us, we will be very, very grateful.
Yeah, I could fancy a takeaway this evening, guys. Cheers.
Yeah. One of the other car launches was the Williams one today. And to me, it looks, I'm not really that much of a fan. I don't know about you two.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's
just not appealing.
I like the idea, but it's a really strange one. It's like they're kind of trying to hark back to this, their kind of 80s and 90s success, which is good, and I think they're some of the best looking cars of all time in F1.
Yeah.
But I just don't, and I like the idea, but then I just don't like the finished product. I kind of don't know what it's doing, and kind of there's the white bit at the front, and then there's some yellow on it, but not very much yellow, and it doesn't seem to be the right shade, although maybe that's just me.
It's,
and then it goes to dark blue,
gold.
and then it's got the pinstripes or whatever it is on the back. It's just strange.
It's not. I don't think it's supposed to be yellow because it looks more like a gold bronze tinge to the Rothmans that they had during the Senna Hill Villeneuve
I thought
era.
it was the camel. I thought it was referencing camel
I don't
yellow.
Know, I think I don't know. I mean, just see it like what it's like as paint on track, but it looks to me like it's a gold, white, and blue, which is what they had with the Rothmans livery. Damon Hill's famous championship-winning livery. I'd be interested to see what Nigel thinks of that, because I think if it was the gold for the camel, it would be a pop in yellow, and it's not. It's a gold rather than yellow. I think it's.
I think
that's the
right.
thing. That's the thing. It's ambiguous. We don't know.
I mean, the lack of spot. Go on.
Yeah, it's a tinge. It's like it's a cool pattern, and I look at it from the side and think, yeah, I like that. I look at it from the front and think, what? And you don't really know what it's trying to be. It doesn't know what it's trying to be. It's waiting for a title sponsor. It looks kind of unfinished in bits. It looks like they've
stolen Nigel's thunder there.
Sorry, yeah, but yeah, it's unfinished, and in my mind, and it's kind of like it could, maybe it's with a bit of development as a livery over the next few years, if they stick with that kind of look, it could become slick and cool. But I don't know.
That's a very good. Yeah, that's a very good point, Freddie. I entirely agree with that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in what you were saying. I think we just both thought the same thing.
Great minds think alike, except in this
Yes.
case, it's just minds.
All right. Does anyone else have anything to say on the Williams one then?
Metaphors. I like Ponos as I don't know what they do, but it looks quite cool. I like DuPont actually on the Alpine. The DuPont little thing. It looked like Pathé, British Pathé logo. I like that very much. But we're not talking about that anymore.
I will say that I really don't like the renders they've released with sort of the massive sort of floodlights on it. It just looks like it's foggy. You can't really see much about it. I don't know if they're trying to hide any aerodynamic kicks to it or any flicks that they want to
basic.
Sort of. It does. It doesn't. It doesn't have the same development. Yeah, they look great on the pictures. So I kind of think either they're trying to be gentle with it, either they're trying to be a bit sneaky, but they haven't got the sort of they've still got the thumb nose at the front that sort of everyone's been moving away from this year. Sort of McLaren have developed obviously their thin nose. Alfa Romeo have done it. AlphaTauri tested one on track when they did their filming day. Alpine have got an advanced one. Red Bull have got a thin one now. Yeah, they just drove their old car on their track days.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a thin nose now, barring Ferrari, who we haven't seen yet. Williams and Haas actually are the two cars sort of stuck in the mud in development, frankly. And I think people, we're talking about Haas not having, any development this year, and it's going to be a write-off year for them, frankly. Which it is. But I think Williams are going to do a similar. I wouldn't be surprised if Williams go down a similar route and actually are still stuck back with Haas. And people kind of think Williams could be, tripping over points, perhaps tripping over decent finishes. But I don't know. I don't quite think they're going to be up. I reckon they'll be sort of 9th, 10th team again, and just maybe steal a point, but probably not.
I'd agree. Yeah.
They have to score points surely this year. Like they've scored 1 point over 2 years, and that was by like default.
Cupids.
Like you cannot in any
If there's any year where they
level
don't score
sport,
points,
you cannot go like 3 years without getting a point.
You're right, but if there's any year where you don't score points, it should be this year, because they've got the budget cap, and then they can just take the money, don't put the money into this, put as little money into this year as you can, feasibly, and spend it all on next year. They've got the most development time in the wind tunnel as well, because that's all come into force this year. So if there's any year that you're not going to get points, it's this year.
What does 23 races this season?
I mean, but that'd be fine if they'd scored if they'd scored multiple over the last 2 years, that'd be fine.
I mean, yeah, but they wouldn't be then in that mindset of we need a big breakthrough. And if there's any, I kind of think the bigger breakthrough they'll get is if they focus on 2022. And yeah, it would be great if they do score points this year. But I think Williams as a team should be focusing not on what they don't achieve this year, but should be focusing on what they're trying to achieve next year. And I think, we should be asking a lot more questions if they're not scoring points next year than this year.
And another British team to have unveiled their livery this week is Aston Martin. One of, if not I'd say the most hyped, highly anticipated liveries of the season. I'm not a fan, personally. I don't know. I just don't really like the green. It's kind of too watermelon green to me, anyway.
Yeah.
And probably having pink on it doesn't help that. I think I will kind of reserve full judgment until I see it on track, because I think it will look better on track than kind of in studio.
Good on track.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
it was in the wet, wasn't it, the other day?
It was in the wet, yeah. I think what makes it look less good on track is Sebastian Vettel having a pink helmet and Lance Stroll having a green helmet. That just made it look like the drivers weren't the drivers, if that makes sense. I was kind of hyping up to see a cool sort of white helmet for Vettel and a cool blue helmet for Stroll, like their sort of classic of recent years helmets. But unfortunately, it seems like they've gone sponsor led, which is annoying for helmets. It's fine for cars, obviously, but it's annoying for helmets. I know what you mean about the color, Adam, because it's Aston Martin green, not British racing green. It's a slight
same thing.
No, it's not. It's not.
Compare this to the Jag. Jaguar green.
Yes, exactly.
Stunning. One of the best colours to be on an F1 car.
The famous Lotus green. The Van Wall green. They're slight. They're more sort of more homely green, whereas this one, if that makes sense. I know what you mean about but I do think it looks. I do think yes, I know, but you can have different greens you melt, and
how do you deal with highlighters? Because you've got the two, you've got the dark green and the light green one.
Green.
He's just it's just both green. I can't deal with this.
Because one's in yellow, isn't it? I know which one you mean. One's more yellow, and one's green.
Oh, but it's still green. It's just all green. It's just all the same colour, apparently.
It's yellow.
Well, that's the thing.
Green.
So it's kind of like it still look. I think it still looks grand and mean and awesome. Actually, to be fair, I think it looks great. I just think there's just a colour of it, that a British racing green sort of vibe that I would prefer, but I still think it looks fantastic. I kind of think they've done the pink in the best way they could, to be fair to them. I don't know how else they could have done that. And that was, until probably a week ago, that was the lime green that we would expect, which probably would have looked better, frankly. I think that would have looked better, and it would have been the lime green, dark green that you've had in Aston Martin since all across their sports car campaigns recently, and all across the merch and the teamwear that was worn during the launch. There's a bit to it where it's kind of like, it probably could have been this, and they've had to change it at last minute because they've agreed the deal with BWT finally, which they've done it in the best way they could, and I think it is slick. I'm rating it. I
think it looks lemon and herb, personally.
Watermelon.
If they did what you wanted, if it was like the Jaguar British Racing Green or the Lotus, But then people will say, "Oh, they're just copying them. They've gone slightly different."
But you
With
think that
great
why
car.
everyone's gone crazy about the green coming back is because of those car companies and the way they did that green. So
Yeah, but
everyone's
then
not
those are
gone,
the
they
same
copied
people
it.
who complain, "Oh, why is this not different to last year or
But
whatever?"
it's not.
Or
It'd still be
But we're
significantly
not
different.
complaining about that.
Yeah, I
But
know you're
also,
not specifically.
compared
But don't
to
use that as
the
an argument against us.
Yeah, true.
compared to
I'm
the
not-
say
when I'm
Jaguar
arguing-
one, compared to the say Jaguar one, it'd still be a significantly different livery because the Jaguar had more red, it had white, and its kind of sponsors were
by
different
Bex.
colours. Yeah, and HSBC. So it looks significantly different. Yes,
It does
It
look
does.
significantly different. It is noticeably a different color, and on track it looks great. It looks fantastic. I'm not saying it's
Oh.
lemon and herb at all. I'm definitely saying it's a hot livery, but I'm saying I think it's not quite the green eyes that I adore as a fan, but it still looks great.
I mean, since we're on the last colour car launch, I can now say that I'm not actually too fussed about the colours, and I'm just bothered about how quick they are.
Yeah, you melt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
The racing system's
it
gone
was
off
just
the wall.
it was a victim. In my mind, it was kind of a victim of like being so hyped up and so many. You couldn't go on a day on Insta without seeing a new concept livery or whatever. I think there's just so much of that.
Sorry.
I don't know. I think it's a bit disappointing, and I can't remember if we actually got to our ratings on Williams, but mine was lemon and herb. If we didn't,
So,
I think it looks better than the concept liveries. I think it's lived up to a lot of the hype, to be fair, for Aston, because I think some of the ways they could have gone, they could have not stuck to their guns and gone for a kind of like sort of very fan friendly car, to be fair, and put like wings all over it and gone crazy with it. But they've played into the sort of slick style that Aston Martin is known for, and I do think it comes across in the car. They tried to bring it out in the launch event, having everyone there decked to the nines in their suits and everything, and they brought in so many big names with Aston Martin to say like, oh yeah, we'll give you an Aston Martin for a week if you do this, Tom Brady, and he'll be like, yes, definitely. So Tom Brady was there. Daniel Craig's still promoting a film that was due to come out in 2019,
been delayed 20 times.
or whatever. Yeah. And Gemma Arterton, bless her, clearly thought that it was because it was pre-recorded that they'd edit around a few things, and unfortunately they just decided not to for some reason, which I felt quite bad for her because she got royally stitched up, I think, by the way that was premiered on YouTube. But they brought in the big guns, and a lot of it was pretty good. And Lawrence Stroll, I want to talk about Lawrence Stroll a bit, because he said his first dream was to own a Formula One team, and his second dream was to own a majority stake in Aston Martin Lagonda. So I'm really interested in Lawrence Stroll's childhood to find out what his third dream was. And so,
oh, yeah. That was we've done it again.
Yeah, exactly.
We've done it again. What's going on?
Great minds again. I'm really interested about why when Lawrence Stroll was like a 4-year-old boy, like, what do you want to do when you're older, Lawrence? You've already said you want to own an F1 team. I want to buy a majority stake in Aston Martin Lagonda, and that's what he said in school in his South Texan accent while he was in Canada. But anyway,
probably got homeschooling.
I don't think I knew what a majority stake was when I was age 4.
Yeah, I thought it was a food.
I think I did when I was 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was a good joke, Nigel,
I'm not a fan, but I think most people are, and that's fine. People should be happy about things.
It's shiny.
Be happy.
If it was Matt, I would have been disappointed. I'm gonna go with McLaren because I absolutely love it. We haven't given it we've spoken about McLaren in previous episodes, and I think I'm gonna give it a extra hot rating because I think it's a fantastic looking car.
Extra hot. Bloody hell.
Yeah, gone for it.
Yeah, I found it weird how people complained, oh, it's the same as last year, but I mean, there was nothing wrong with it. So if there's nothing wrong, why change it? That's how I see it.
Chrome, Nigel, Chrome. No, I think it looks good. It's an improvement on last year, but I think, I don't know, there was a lot of hope. Probably
What did you want though?
it to be Chrome Vodafone style. It's what I
Vodafone,
wanted.
just going to put
Everything
that out.
McLaren's
No,
built
like
up to
Vodafone
move away
style,
from
as
it
in that
for
era.
years.
Got you.
But having said that, I think it looks very slick. I think they still improved it from last year. They've just made minor tweaks. I think I'll give it a hot. It's not quite.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with that.
I don't see McLaren going back to Chrome anytime soon because that's just Ron Dennis to a T, wasn't it?
I know, but I can still want them to.
Definitely,
Still green. Yeah, I don't know. I think it doesn't like blow me away. They didn't lift off the covers and I think, wow, that's stunning. And I think that's kind of my criteria for extra hot, putting it in the top tier.
I mean, it blew me away the year before, and it still looks great to me. So.
Let's move on to Alfa Romeo, Adam's favourite livery. Why is it you like it so much?
Yeah, I mean, we've discussed this previously, and we'll just kind of try to bash through these ones a bit quicker. But yeah, I just think it just absolutely blew me away. I think I've always liked the kind of burgundy colour, and just switching it and having the logo kind of coming out of it into the top of the engine cover just worked so well. I like the little clover. It just blew me away completely. Extra hot, no debate for me.
Yeah, I'm similar to that. I think it does look fantastic. It does look really pretty. I might go for a hot and a half again on this one. I do think it looks really good. Basically. There's nothing else to say, is there? It looks really good.
Not really. It does.
And I think yeah, I agree with you. The kind of flip sort of caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it at all. And of the colours with the red coming below, it's like it and I said this on the previous episode that if you had told me that was going to be that they were going to try that, I would have thought it was sacrilege and they shouldn't at all try and do that. But I think it does look fantastic and it does look really pretty. And, it does what every sort of Alfa Romeo should do. And that's kind of evoke a kind of a beauty and just an illustrious joy from the car, which is, that's what Alfa Romeo want as a brand. I mean, all they need to do now is bring performance. If they have, which unfortunately they're not going to do because, we say this all the time. They're just not, I say this all the time. They don't have the mentality of a Formula One team that's pushing. They have the mentality of a Formula One team that's sinking. And at least the art department have their act together, frankly. Yes. That's all I can say about Alfa Romeo. And they say a beautiful car is fast, but then you can say that the same again, that a slow car makes it slightly less good looking, if that makes sense. It works both ways in my mind. And it's kind of like, just because it's not like a super top car, it kind of has sort of a tinge to me of a bit like not quite there. And I sort of see that when I look at it. And I don't know if that's me just being stupid, but again, it's like how I judged the Haas earlier on. The connotations that come with it do pick up the livery. And the connotations that I've got with this one are like, it's not amazing for me because it's a lacking team underneath it.
Yeah, I think that a lot about football shirts. I kind of like when a team releases their football shirt, and like Liverpool a few years ago, well, their last 2 seasons, that will be kind of the iconic shirt. So yeah, I think they're kind of like retro fitted, not retro judged on kind of the success of it and fans' memories of it. And for me, kind of following what's the last few years, kind of some of their jerseys that I didn't really like when they launched, now I look back as really iconic because of what was achieved in them, and some that I really liked at the time, and now just kind of it's associated with a disappointing season. So I think definitely so. Nigel's back with us. What's your rating for Alfa Romeo before we move on?
Yeah, I love the livery. I think it's fantastic. Probably. Oh, is it the best livery? Yeah, I reckon it is. You know, it looks superb. I think he'll definitely stand out, and I hope they keep it as well for the next for 4 or 5 years. I think that would be great.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not going to stay.
Yeah, I don't think it will. But
Alfa Romeo are leaving. I think they've signed a 1-year extension for 2021, and then apparently they're eyeing up Formula E.
In some ways, though, it's nice. It's just it won't get stale. It will just be this beautiful livery that's there. Like
You're right, because it's been a livery concept that they've had for 4 years with that color scheme, and it's worked every year. It's not. You're right. It's not gone stale at all.
Moving on, AlphaTauri. Again, already discussed this. I really like it. I'm going hot. I like that they've kind of put more blue on it. I said I liked white for the Haas one. I wasn't as keen on it in last year's AlphaTauri, so I prefer this one. Yeah, I think hot.
I think I prefer the one. Was it 2017? That one, the dark
the electric blue.
Yeah, that was my favourite one. So because AlphaTauri or Toro Rosso as it was then, because they had something better, I'm probably going to go mild. I'd say mild.
Mild. Wow. Okay.
Mild.
Oh, I know where both of you are coming from. Is the thing, which is probably why I'm going to end up.
Which one's mild? Is it lemon and herb or medium?
Isn't it? It's the one above lemon and herb.
Okay.
Yeah. Lemon, herb, mild, Nandos medium, hot, extra hot.
Mild isn't. Oh yeah, no, sorry. Ignore
that. So I'm probably going to end up going medium because I'm going to be in between the two of you, and kind of like I like it, but like Nigel says, they can do better. But that's about, it's like it looks good. It's a good looking car. They've tried they didn't have it in their launch shots, but in the filming day shots, they trialed a thinner, more Mercedes inspired nose front end, and that made it look so much better just because it's so much more stylish. It really worked with it with the sort of blue front that they've got, because the bit that I kind of didn't really like is the fact that the front was just blue and then the side of it made it look completely different as a car from the front angle to the side angle, and that really worked on track in a way. So that's kind of brought me up from a mild to a medium.
That's something Renault did very well on some of their liveries.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all of them, apart from Ferrari.
Red Bull.
Adam's stunned at that respect.
He's frozen because he's so shocked at the fact that
he's got so much to say. Yeah.
So much to say on Red Bull. I don't know. I do think the Red Bull is quickly, because we've got, just because we all know the deal with Red Bull. But it is a great car. It's a great looking car. And I think, like, we look back, Adam spoke about the Chrome Vodafone earlier. If we were living through the Twitter age with the 7th year of the Chrome Vodafone car, we would just be going on about, oh, it's the same. And we'd hear that all the time. But it's a fantastic looking car. And all of those kind of cars, like the iconic ones are the ones that stood the test of time. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. The Red Bull car this livery of the Red Bull is going to stand the test of time. It's one of the best looking cars, basically, I think.
I'll go medium. I'm not like it's just there. It just kind of is. It's like middling. Like, it looks good, but it's, we're getting into like the 1000th year of it now, and it's just like, I
like it. I'm with Freddie on this one. I agree with his points. Yeah, I've always had a soft spot for Red Bull. Like, when I used to play video racing games, I always chose like a Red Bull livery. I had a Red Bull sticker on it and stuff. Yeah.
I always kind of I agree with that, in that kind of like it's not stuffy, is it? It's when you're choosing as a team, you're not like picking the best, but you're still picking, a good guy.
Well, I mean, unless you won, not again, F1 2013 or 12 or whatever. But yeah, I think it's a harder thing to do with a drinks manufacturer than like a car company producing a slick livery, I feel, anyway, because it's kind of less to base it around. But yeah, I think like it's it's fine, but it's not any more than fine, which is why it's a
Kinda like-
medium.
What they have to base it around was a Red Bull can, and they could have gone with a horrible looking grey and blue livery with like squares all over it and make it look awful. But they haven't. They've decided no. Why would we do that? Because they've seen how stupid that would be. So
They did do it in like one of their early seasons, didn't they?
the very first test car after they
That's
bought
the one.
Jaguar in 2004 was just a hastened, done the week before, grey and blue quad livery basically. And actually, to be fair, on that car, it kind of looked okay. But if you'd seen it through a season,
like
you would have over a season.
Yeah,
it would have annoyed you. As
Time
a
for some
one-off, it's cool.
Time for some quick hot takes. We're just going to do quick fire, hopefully, while we think
New
of them.
teams.
Start off with Alpine podium. I think they'll get a podium.
Yeah, I think podium for Alonso. I think Alonso will get a podium. Yeah.
See, I think that too. So I'm trying to think of something different. Just quickly, Alonso.
Oh.
I reckon Alonso will qualify in Q3 in every race.
Wow. Goodness me. I'll be
Hot
surprised.
take there.
23
gets
races.
in-
Why have I said that?
I'll be surprised if he gets
Roping
into
this.
Q3 in half the races. Like double figures even. I think
Well,
he
how many
only
races
gets
did Ricciardo not get to Q3 last year?
I don't
Probably
Dunno.
know.
like 1 or 2. So to be
But-
fair, it's probably okay.
Oh, that's just because I see there's 5 teams better than this year. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, but it's Alonso, isn't it?
True.
It is. It certainly is Alonso. Mercedes. It's kind of, I think, hard to do a hot take for Mercedes because they're so good that it's like,
Yeah, you're right. Like if we said Mercedes to qualify a car in Q3 in every race, it'd be like, oh, what? That's
This is-
easy. It's different.
This is
So,
my prediction. I do not think they're going to win one of the championships this year.
That is big.
I believe
They won't
the
win
Big's
Stratton
one word
Ball
for
it.
Company will
They
take
won't
one of
win
them.
Rookie of the Year.
And I'll say that all the way until probably after Bahrain. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
you've got
I mean,
25
believe
days.
I stand by that.
Mm,
do you think, would a 1-2 in the
in
championship
every race.
be
Pole
a
position in every race.
That's what they've
do
had
you think
to-
now?
pole
They've
position, not
they've
in
not
every
done
race?
that, have they? They've not done that.
No.
I'd say, I'll go 20.
20? All right.
Yeah.
That seems about right for
Wins?
the past 5 years even of F1 as well.
Probably about that, to be honest. I think I
20
already put,
wins. Oh,
I already
God.
put Verstappen at like, I think in the Red Bull one, then I said like he gets 2 wins or something.
Yeah, and Nigel
Or-
said that Perez had to get like 5 wins to even have a hope of keeping his seat at Red Bull.
That's
Yeah.
because I think Red Bull could have a good car.
I don't kind of see who's going to really challenge them. It's just those two. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hamilton
I'm
retires.
letting you stall for me by having this
Yeah,
conversation.
I can really see Hamilton retiring.
George
actually.
Russell jumps in mid-season.
I don't. That's mid-season. That's a hot take, but I don't see Hamilton retaring as a hot take. I see that as more of
Really?
Yeah, neither.
Closer
But
to
you
a
do need to
certainty
come
than
up with
it's-
a hot take.
Yes,
So-
I know we're running out of podcast time.
Yep.
You're going to start singing in a minute.
Okay, this is killing me. I'm gonna do Michael Williams. Well, okay.
They will.
Okay, I'm gonna do
Bottas
Michael
won't win
Williams.
a race.
Okay.
Bottas won't
Well,
win a
that
race.
is 45 seconds. I'm never gonna get back.
No, you're
Williams.
not. Every second
Mine's
to second you're never
related.
going to get back.
Mine's related to what was just said, but Russell doesn't see out the season with Williams.
Okay.
Nicholas Latifi will score the first points.
Oh, he stole mine there. I think he will get the first point, but
Same.
yeah. Although both drivers getting points, is that a hot take?
I think that is.
Yeah, it is.
George Russell will get 2 or 3 Latifi will get 1.
Oh wow, he's put numbers on it. Cool, that is very hot. All right, who's next?
Yes. Haas.
Haas.
Again, it's
my realistic
Haas will run a plain white car in Bahrain.
Oh, on topic. I like that.
Yeah, why not?
I just don't have high hopes for them at all. I think they're going to finish last in the constructors for the first time in their short F1 history.
They finished 5th in 2018 as well. I mean,
yeah, I don't think they're going to get into Q2 many times, probably 2 or 3 times.
I was about to say that, so I'll say they don't get to Q2 more than twice.
Oh, yeah, twice.
I think that's such a hot take. You can both have it.
Yeah. That is realistic, but yeah.
Well, I thought Nigel's was that they finished last in the championship.
Oh yeah, and that.
But that's arguably the most freezing take you could have.
Probably true, yeah. Oh well, that's what we said. We both thought of it independently, so it counts. Aston Martin.
I think they'll win a race.
I feel like I've said
this casually. Sorry?
Stroll runs a helmet that is just like a watermelon thing.
Stroll beats Vettel in the championship.
Yeah, he just like chisels.
Stroll beats Vettel in the championship.
Yeah.
I mean,
I really don't want that to happen. I really want Vettel to come back and be his old self. But the annoying thing is, you can kind of, has he still got it? Was last year more than we think?
I can see it. I don't think.
I don't know if I can see it yet, and we will need to see the first few races at Aston Martin to see if how much of last year was just because he just couldn't be bothered with Ferrari, and that he was, the whole direction of the team was nowhere near him, which was the case. But whether that is all about him or whether it's about that team, and whether he's revitalized, we don't know. So who knows yet? And that's my hot take, is that he's not going to be revitalized, but I want him to be. I don't want this one to come true.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut on Lance Stroll for the podcast today.
Okay. Right. Oh yeah, you said they'd win
a race, yeah.
Apparently,
yeah.
Got a hot take from Zoom is that you can see your eyes moving. So like you look in one direction, then you look at your own face on the thing, and because of the delay, it's moving across.
Adam's figured out something that so many people have seen on Zoom for the past year.
It's like when you're a kid, when you're in the mirror and you try to like...
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But with this, it actually works because you can actually see it. Because it does actually work like that.
Are you stalling, Adam? Did you throw in a hot take?
No, mine was the watermelon helmet one.
Oh, okay.
Not that he makes a helmet out of a watermelon, but that he just runs one that's like completely...
Like that...
like a watermelon.
Like that meme from about 12 years ago of this cat with a watermelon cutout on its head.
I did see something about a squirrel that had been like, I don't know if it was in a cemetery or something, but it basically ended or like was in a Halloween. It might be like Halloween decorations or something, but it found like a skull from the Halloween decorations and got it stuck on its head. So it's just a picture of a squirrel with like a skull stuck on its head.
I don't know if that's really cute or sad.
It was hilarious. The picture was anyway. Hopefully you thought that about our podcast as well, but we will wrap things up.
If it's cute or sad.
Today. We will be back next week to talk about some F1. But in the meantime, thank you very much for listening and goodbye.
Bye, everybody.